everybody, Joseph Rothschild here, aka... And can you do a better intro for Twitter threads than the little click you do? It sucks. Go to hell. With another Twitter thread. Folks, today I am asking you a very simple question. Yu-Gi-Oh! Has been around for 25 years, and one of the downsides of a game with this type of longevity is you aren't going to be able to ensure that every deck has an interesting game plan against every other deck. Sometimes there are 100-0 matchups, and today I want to hear about yours. I'm going to educate you on one that I got to play at Locals about a month ago, and I've been riding the high of ever since. Pearly Noir is a very powerful card that's unaffected by other cards' effects, but its ability to shuffle cards from your opponent's field into the deck is only live as long as it has a level 1 Pearly monster on it as material. You can activate the effect of Doug Charger to detach an Xyz material from a monster on either field, and if you do, special summon this card, and it doesn't count as affecting the card. Let's see what you all came up with. Callie says, this one causes me physical pain. Raidraptor sets up 3 unoutable towers, and then all Yubel needs to do is crash into them a couple of times. They even float off the board wipe. But even worse, did you know that Phantom can negate Rising Rebellion? You're just allowed to change the effect of a monster that's unaffected. Add Ignister versus Red Dragon Archfiend. The field spell is a non-once per turn, but it doesn't matter because this negates face-up cards on the field. Turns out you are allowed to activate the negated field spell in Master Duel 10 times before Master Duel says, no more. We actually ran into that in a duel Taining, where someone tried to trigger the effect of a card that did nothing 10 times and was not allowed to. Face-down monsters can't be used for extra deck plays. I should be fine. They are beasts and fiends. Actually, Cursed Eyes, this is a great one. It's very funny. But notably, this is not the only bad matchup for Mimighoul. I think Snake Eye is a 100-0 into Mimighoul because you just go Diabell Star Send the set monster. In my experience on Yubel, Centurion has been a terrible matchup. Caesar can't stop them. Their important effects aren't monster effects. Unless I invest heavily into a Dies Irae or a Varudris for the end board, I cannot stop the resource climb. Centurion's like that for a lot of strategies. Frequently, I sit down across the table from Centurion and I'm like, what the fuck? Do I have to be playing Ghost Ogre to interact with these guys? Caesar stops Primera. What? Are you ready for me to fuck with you here? Caesar doesn't stop trap card effects. It stops a spell trap card or a monster effect. Isn't it a trap effect? It would say when a spell trap card or effect is activated. You know what? I actually don't even believe this one. So the card and effect distinction I know is how it works because that's how Totally Awesome works. But does Primera work that way? It counts as a trap card that is activating an effect that summons itself and therefore can't be Caesared? Yes? I hate this fucking game, man. Historical one, but it's unreal how cool Rate format was and how much worse Macker was. And a huge part of that is True Draco pushing out every cool deck that incorporated or went to bat against Zoo. Paleo being the clearest and biggest casualty. Just target it, see what happens. This was a miserable matchup for the Paleo player. When we were practicing for events during which Masterpiece and the Paleos were legal at the same time, we had Gavin in the house on Paleo and Sorab in the house on True Draco. Boy, we just thought he was way better than us. And he was, but like, it's a 100-0. Do you know how hard it is to destroy a fucking fire monster I control under the effect of Stealth Kragen? What's the problem? What's the issue? Rebecca says, funny one I've encountered, Tenpai versus Valmonica. Valmonica follow rhythm, bounce the field spell, and non-target bounce a monster is devastating. Also, they can use it twice. No quick synchro in battle can escape it either. Because it doesn't target. You're telling me Valmonica has an unlosable Tenpai matchup? Maybe I'll start playing Valmonica. You know what? I'm in. During Rate format, everybody and their mother was throwing Zoo into everything because it hosed everything playable, except Paleo. Dryden is a quick... what the fuck? Fedganator's just wrong about this, right? Oh, they're saying Zoo lost to set 5? No, it didn't. And you would even play Zoo in Paleo. What? Oh, is this a Josh opinion? Listen, Josh was waxing kids on Paleo for sure. Booking the Cassius was just so strong and ninjas had 20 books. Absolutely correct. The Ninja 3v3. Who can forget it? Unfortunately, the thing about cash format is that some idiots didn't bring cash. Well, you can't play around bad duelists. In Plunder, the opponent will only ever summon wind and water attributes. Giving them a token extends their plays, their cards can be banished, and the deck just grinds infinitely. I have played at least 50 Plunder versus Flu games, and I've won like 3. Here's another one for Plunder. Before, you would use Jord calling light, but now you gotta make sure you know your opponent's tax bracket, because otherwise they will use the light Fiend token to just make Requiem and do full Fiendsmith combo. I can't believe that is so funny. Anyway, here's the most obnoxious card in the world for Dragon Link. Did you all ever do it? You ever do it playing branded? You look at your opener, your opponent's got a full Dragon Link board, you go. Set one pet. Oh, you know what, actually? Weird one, but Nouvelles and Makanko, I'll take your word for it. The Nouvelles don't target and destroy, so the Makanko protections don't help. The Nouvelles have low attack, so you can't OTK without a Kaiju. And the level 6 negates the board on summon, so say goodbye to all equip spell effects. Wow, legitimately cooked. The Cyber Dragon Mirror is whoever goes second wins 99.9% of the time. The win con for whoever goes first is to pass on nothing and hope your opponent bricks. It is the single worst mirror in the game. When Thunder Dragons were first announced, we were in one of those tier 0 spiral formats we get every few years. I don't believe they were legal at the same time due to Banlist and Colossus release date, but I've tested the matchup a ton, and Colossus is unbeatable paired versus Spyro. I have this matchup so min-maxed, I genuinely thought they were just going to leave Spiral at full power, just like release Colossus and let him show up like the hero we needed. Instead, they axed Spiral to make way for Toss format, and Colossus was $200 on release. It's so funny that this is like a mainstay in one of the most beloved formats of all time. And just by virtue of like its existence, a whole slew of decks just aren't playable. For the better. For one that isn't a mirror match, Double Masquerade is an FTK against Punk. Getting limited to 4 total card activations with a combo deck sucks. Valence into Shifter, Valence into Anti-Spell, Valence into Dimensional Barrier, Valence into Shangri-La, Valence into Flamberge, Valence into an Imperm set in the pen column, Valence into... Sounds like you need to be looking inward, my friend. Little talked about is the Ogdoadic versus Zombie matchup. If you're not going first, you're dead, and it's Zombie World's fault. No Daybreak, no Serpent Strike, Water Lily. Did you need 5 reptiles for that? Ooh, Origin. Doesn't work. Oh boy, I love my boss monster that only sends monsters except for the ones from the graveyards, which is something zombies never do, and you don't know what true pain feels like until Aaron Effect discards Banshee. Baylor Drock banishes graveyard monsters. You can't even summon Coddle. Zoha lets your opponent discard a card. Zombies wouldn't want anything in the graveyard. Amnesia can't summon your monsters from graveyard. Do you know how cool it is to have the new restriction when everything you summon is a zombie? I don't think I've ever seen a more complete deconstruction of a bad matchup. This individual has transcended Johns. This is the John F. Kennedy of Johns. One of the very few times the wet effect of Kragen matters. Don't fucking call it that. The wet effect? You can call it the soak effect, like the Pokemon move. The wet effect. Do not call it that! While there are a ton of lopsided matchups over the course of Yu-Gi-Oh's history, I think we can all agree that the most lopsided of all of them is whatever deck I'm playing versus whatever deck my opponent's playing. How was I supposed to beat that? Kai Cenat, Goku, NFT, Skibbity, Toilet, Ohio, Gojira, Manslaughter, T-shirt. Can I get a job application? Where to watch One Piece anime online? He just doesn't get it.